A very good evening and welcome to the main news. We are broadcasting live from our Pocket Hill studios. I am Irene Arambi and Susan Masona is signing off with us.
Great to have you along indeed. My name is Patla Nepure. These are tonight's top stories.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa presides over the Presidential Innovation Fair in Harare with a call to turn innovation into industries.
The Reserve Bank reserves tops $1 billion United States dollars, a significant milestone towards maintaining a stable currency.
And Sungura icon Madzibaba Nicholas Zakaria dies, tributes a poor for senior lecturer.
And later on, we will be looking at your sport, where Warriors coach Martinica announces a 28-man squad for the Africa Cup of Nations. Well, let's start with tonight's top story. President Emmerson Mnangagwa says Zimbabwe must turn innovations into industries to propel value addition and create employment. The president was speaking at the official opening of the third edition of the Presidential Innovation Fair in Harare today.
Your Excellency, yes. Welcome to the standing. This is the Zimbabwe National Geospatial and Space Agency.
They came and participated at the Presidential Innovation Fair for the past 2 years, and this year they came with their prototypes and been urged to utilize the platform to turn their prototypes into commercial value. President Emmerson Mnangagwa and other stakeholders toured various exhibitions and appreciated the gesture exhibited by innovators who have also shown their prowess in terms of creating value for their products. Addressing stakeholders, President Emmerson Mnangagwa implored innovators to turn their prototypes into industries.
Let us, across all sectors, also confront the challenge of skills retention proactively. More so, that our innovators are globally competitive. Zimbabwe should thus not only produce exceptional innovators, we must keep them, support them, and help them thrive. Beyond the government, more of our citizens and the private sector stakeholders are exhorted to play their part towards supporting this ongoing research, innovation, and development agenda. The work of nation building requires imagination and the will to act. Let us convert ideas into companies, prototypes into exports, and a wider range of products and services that benefit the majority of our people.
The excellent exhibitions of innovations also speaks to the education ecosystem, which is vibrant and meant to take the nation forward towards industrialization and modernization.
At this platform, we celebrate Zimbabwean innovators who excelled in developing impactful innovations in various categories, while also showcasing their ideas and inventions. I commend all stakeholders for organizing this event for the third year in a row. As we look back at the milestones in the education sector since the adoption of the Heritage-Based Education 5.0 model under the Second Republic, particularly in institutions of higher learning, our nation has every reason to be proud. Universities and tertiary institutions continue to transform graduates from being mere employment seekers to individuals with skills to produce goods and products that meet the needs of our economy.
As innovators keep pushing for their products, there is also need for those in intellectual property to play a critical role in terms of filing of the patents.
We must be deliberate and more aggressive to guarantee that prototypes move to pilot and pilot products transition to the market. Commercialization will not happen by accident. I urge you all, within this innovation, research, scientific and technological ecosystem, to be more proactive. Other entities in industry and the manufacturing sector, along with those in the creative cultural industry, as well as small and medium enterprises, are also encouraged to register their patents to protect our proudly Zimbabwean brands, our products, and our intellectual property.
Out of the 269 projects submitted for the award ceremony, at least 21 students walked away with various prizes as the prototypes aligned to the practicality, the commercial value of the project, as well as its impact to communities. The third edition of the Presidential Innovation Fair was being held under the theme Innovation for Economic Growth, from prototype to commercialization, which speaks to the industrialization and modernization agenda. Bruce Jawanda, SABC News, Harare.
Stakeholders have expressed confidence in the national innovation trajectory as the country intensifies efforts to transform homegrown interventions into commercially viable enterprises. Let's get the details from Wellington Makonese.
This year's edition of the Presidential Innovation Fair, the third, has come with major developments from mere prototypes to those products ready for the commercialization stage. And from this exhibition that you have witnessed, there are those in the textile industry, those in ICTs, engineering, agro-processing, and those that provide solutions for communities. Exhibitors who stem from tertiary institutions, industry, and those in high schools are confident that this year provides the breakthrough that is set to make them bigger contributors to economic development.
We've done prototyping, now we are going into full production. So in this coming year, we'll then produce an actual viable product that you can actually see making deliveries. Yeah, so we are positioned in a way that we can start moving on commercialization, so that we can also push the NDS2 that we're getting into.
In terms of commercialization, we have our traditional grain mill, the Mafundes, the Gios, and the Munga. We have a processing plant that is going to go commercial. So in terms of commercialization, we have discovered. And on this project, we are subcontracting the farmers. We give farmers who live in the arid lands to grow this instead of maize.
Government believes that this new farm trajectory that is all-encompassing will catapult the nation towards sustainable development.
We have moved from education for employment to education for empowerment and industrialization. This third Presidential Innovation Fair comes at a defining moment in our country's journey towards Vision 2030. We are transitioning from NDS1 to NDS2, which will culminate in the nation's achieving an upper middle income society by 2030. As a ministry, Your Excellency, we contribute to the development of an innovation-led and knowledge-driven economy. Your Excellency, the Presidential Innovation Fair is not only a showcase of talent, it is a testimony to the success of Your Excellency's visionary policies under the heritage-based Education 5.0.
After all that has been showcased, what is clear is that Zimbabwe's innovation ecosystem is gaining momentum, and that most of these products exhibited here are ready to enter that commercialization phase. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
Well, the Presidential Innovation Fair taking center stage today. We're also excited to know that one of our reporters, Fungai Jachi, winning the Best Innovation Journalist Reporter at that fair. Fantastic stuff. Now, 3 new ambassadors from Sudan, Egypt, and the European Union have presented their credentials to the president as President Emmerson Mnangagwa at State House in Harare today. The 3 vowed to increase trade and investment between Zimbabwe and their respective countries and organizations. Our chief correspondent, Ruben Barwe, has more.
Three ambassadors presented their credentials to the President, Comrade Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa at State House today. First is the ambassador of the Sudan, whose capital is Khartoum. As you know, there is a civil war currently taking place between the government forces and the Rapid Response Force. The ambassador is Mr. Ibrahim Sheikh Abdelaziz Ahmed, who presented his credentials to the President, Comrade Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, in the company of the Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister, Professor Emon Morwera, and the Secretary for the Ministry, Ambassador Albert Chimbende. Soon after, the ambassador spoke to journalists about his mission, realizing that his country is at war and needs the wise counsel from Zimbabwean leader.
I brief His Excellency on the current situation in the Sudan regarding the war imposed on the Sudan, explaining the reality of its nature, denying that story, telling that war erupted between two parties.
Then the next to present the credentials is the new Arab Republic of Egypt ambassador, Dr. Maha Seragel Mustafa Kamal, who said she is happy to be here, and there is a lot between Zimbabwe and Egypt that the two countries can build on.
We coordinate and we work together in international fora and in regional organizations, and during the last few years we have seen our bilateral trade double. We have opened new avenues for cooperation, including the health sector, the pharmaceuticals, our investment companies, our private sector. They are willing to come and to invest.
The last to present the credentials is the new European Union delegation ambassador. That is Dr. Katrin Hegeman, who has served in Kenya, in Botswana and the Central African Republic. She said there is a lot the two can do to build the close relationship that is already there. This follows Zimbabwe's policy of a friend of all and enemy to none.
We have a trade agreement that's already in place where Zimbabwean businesses can export quota goods without any hindrances, and we're trying to expand that and deepen that trade agreement.
So at the end of the day, the three ambassadors said they are ready to cooperate with Zimbabwe in several facets of economic development. Politically, there is so much agreement on various issues between the two countries and the European Union delegation. Ruben Barwes, ZBC News, State of Harare.
The new Minister of Mines and Mining Development, Honorable Polite Kambamura, has been sworn in. He was sworn in by President Emmerson Mnangagwa at State House in Harare this Thursday. Let's get the details.
I, Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, do call upon you, Polite Kambamura, to take the oath of minister.
I will be faithful to Zimbabwe and in the office of minister will uphold the constitution and all other laws of Zimbabwe, that I will give my advice to the President of Zimbabwe freely and to the best of my judgment whenever I am required to do so for the good management of the public affairs of Zimbabwe.
The new Minister of Mines, Dr. Polite Kambamura, took his oath of office in front of the President of the Republic, Comrade Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, after being appointed Minister of that portfolio following the departure of Comrade Winston Chitando. Soon after his appointment and soon after taking his oath of office, Engineer Kambamura spoke to journalists about what he envisions.
I'm going to structure the ministry into several pillars. The social pillar, whereby we're going to be focusing on social investment and social development, whereby we're going to make sure that our people benefit from their God-given resources. We're going to move from corporate social responsibility to corporate investment so that people get something even after mine closure. Because in most cases, when the mine closes, people don't benefit. We're going also to come up with an economic pillar where we are going to focus on restructuring the ministry, talk of the cadastral system, talk of intensive exploration. These are building pillars of NDS2. So we're going to be doing aeromagnetic surveys so that we'll be able to quantify our mineral reserves and the resources across the whole country, so that when investors come, we negotiate over deals on reserves that we know.
The mining sector is one major milk cow for the Zimbabwean economy. And what has been happening across the length and breadth of this country, where artisanal miners were doing, especially to the environment, leaves a lot to be desired. And Minister Kambamura said, this will be a thing of the past. At the end of the day, each and every Zimbabwean, each and every community where minerals are found have to benefit. And this is a very big menu for the Minister of Mines and Mining Development, Engineer Polite Kambamura. Ruben Barwes, ZPC News, Teta Sarare.
Now, the government has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting the small to medium enterprises sector, recognizing its central role in the national development agenda.
According to Zimstat's recent economic census, SMEs now account for over 70% of domestic economic activity, a clear indication of their key role in economic development. An awards ceremony was held in Harare this Wednesday evening in recognition of their central position.
Now we have all the platform, we can offer our services, and we are competing very well, and the environment is now very much conducive for us.
Work hard, diligently, consistently, and with God, nothing is impossible.
Whenever you've got an idea, try to be as original as possible, come up with sustainable, I would say, strategies, sustainable products.
No matter how small you might seem to be, just keep on pushing.
Organizers of the event outlined the push factors.
The main thrust that we are trying to push forward is to create a bridge for SMEs to have direct interaction with the policymakers, as well as the SMEs and the markets.
Vice President Kenel retired Dr. Kembo Mohadi, who was represented by Harare Metropolitan Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Senator Charles Tawengwa, acknowledged the contribution of the SME sector to the national development agenda.
The government of Zimbabwe is committed to ensuring that SMEs are capacitated to grow, thrive, and transition into large corporates that will anchor our nation's aspirations of attaining an upper middle income economy status by 2030.
Government is implementing several measures to support the SME sector, including policy alignment, access to markets, and pushing for formalization. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa's Angel of Hope Foundation, continues to touch the hearts of many, with bus loaders donating a consignment of groceries for onward distribution to patients at the Angel of Hope Foundation Drug Rehabilitation Center in Mbare.
Selfless bus loaders who perform menial jobs saved their hard-earned money to buy an assortment of groceries which they donated to First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa for distribution at the Angel of Hope Drug Rehabilitation Center. The First Lady was visibly touched by the gesture, as the bus loaders had to save for a long time to raise the money used to purchase the groceries. Their dedication demonstrated remarkable maturity as they joined the Mother of the Nation in the fight against drug and substance abuse. The team visited Dr. Mnangagwa at Zimbabwe House this Thursday, where they handed over the groceries. The move speaks volumes about how the Mother of the Nation has touched many hearts through a philanthropic work and non-partisan approach. Upon receiving the donation, Dr. Mnangagwa expressed their gratitude, highlighting that she is humbled by the thoughtful gesture, which will go a long way in complementing her work. The Mother of the Nation commended the youths for exhibiting the value of Ubuntu. She said their behavior is a reflection of good upbringing.
Ndinokukudzai zvikuru nokutendai basa ramuri kuita iroro. Hapana basa diki, hapana hombe, hapana rinoshorwa, hapana rakakosha. Ese mabasa asi kupera kwezuva anozoumba upenyu hwemunhu. Ndinokutendai zvikuru kuti kana wakufunga nhamo yemunin'ina wako uchibatsira amai kuti amai hevo batsirai munin'ina wangu ina ndiko ndikubasa patibatsirai uchitumidzira ndokukura kwacho. Takazotsvaga mabasa akakuna kumadhorobha. Saka kana uchigona kuti wana basa wofunga amai kumusha. Amai vochichengeta vanin'ina vako. Vangasatenda pakadaro. Ndinokutendai vana vangu tiri mufezi yakaipisisa zvikuru yemuyedzo wemadrugs muyedzo chaiwo. But kana imimi ndaona ya so sober hamusi mazviri kufunga kwenyu outside the box. Chirambai makadaro.
Dr. Mnangagwa also held an interactive session with the youths addressing drug and substance abuse while they shared their daily work experiences. After handing over the groceries to Mother Zimbabwe, the team said the donation is part of efforts to appreciate Mother Zimbabwe's noble humanitarian initiatives that have benefited vulnerable communities across the country. The selfless bus loaders managed to save from their earnings and bought an assortment of groceries that they donated to the First Lady.
Tinoona mama vanofamba matima nenyika havasarudze vanenge vachibatsira munhu wese vaita zvakawanda saka ndo zvakatipawo shungu yekungotiwo nepadiki patinowana ipapo tungetiwo macontribution tikwanise kutengawo grocery ratakatenga iri tikwanise kunge tichibatsirawo mama vachifambisawo basa.
Patakaona kuti amai vari kuita chirongwa chemadrugs takati isu semahwendi maitibatiridzewo patinapo kuti tikwanise kuvabatsira amai.
Dr. Mnangagwa's concern for the welfare of vulnerable groups has seen her visiting all the country's 10 provinces, donating what should have mobilized through Angel of Hope partners without being selective. The growing support the Angel of Hope Foundation is getting from various organizations and individuals shows how the First Lady's work is resonating with Zimbabweans from all walks of life. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, the country's foreign currency and gold reserves have reached the $1 billion mark within 18 months, a significant milestone towards maintaining a stable currency and creating a sustainable economy. Owen Mandova has more.
The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe's Monetary Policy Committee met about a fortnight ago in order to deliberate on several policy issues affecting the financial service sector as well as the general economy. After the meeting, a press statement was released, and it shows that gold and foreign currency reserves are now nearing US $1 billion in one of the biggest developments towards maintaining economic stability. I'm joined by economist Mr. Mishek Ugaro to give us some insights regarding the importance of creating enough reserves to stabilize the economy.
As the name says, reserves, it is the power behind any currency. How long can you sustain your currency without receiving anything? At the launch of the ZIG in April 2024, we had reserves of 285 million USD, combination of cash and minerals. As we stand, we're just about $1 billion, just over $1 billion, again, combination of cash and resources. Our monthly imports bill is 800 million. So it means the 1 billion plus, we are now covering about 1.2 months of imports. So we can stay for about a month and 2 weeks without receiving any foreign currency in the country and still operate at the same. Ideally, and by international practice, we need to have about minimum of 3 months cover. And so you'd say for $800 million import bill, minimum 3 months is about 2.4 billion. That should be the minimum target that we go. However, a safe target is like 6 months, which would mean 5.4 billion. So where this economy is going, and I think this is the target that the central bank or the monetary authorities is chasing, for the country to reach about $5.4 billion reserve. When we reach that, we know that we can stay half a year without receiving any foreign currency, which is a very unlikely scenario. So that means we will be safe. That supports currency stability. And when we have currency stability, in Zimbabwe we know our phenomenon is that when our currency is moving, our prices also move. So our prices in Zimbabwe are driven by currency or exchange rate. So if reserves are there, it means that the currency will be stable by way of showing that the central bank is able to release money into the market when it is required.
The local Z currencies managed to maintain one of the longest runs of stability since it was introduced in April 2024. Besides the central bank maintaining a tight monetary policy stance, this scenario is set to provide confidence in the local currency, which is backed by gold. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
And our Treasury is projecting sustainable economic activity in various sectors as the country targets to attain an upper middle income society by 2030.
With the vision to attain an upper middle income society that leaves no one behind, the Second Republic's inclusive development trajectory has pushed the country to transition from recovery to sustainable growth. This includes massive strides recorded in macroeconomic stability as well as pricing stability, the success of the local currency introduced in 2024, along with the successful retooling of industry. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Mr. George Guamatanga, says the vision is to attain a single-digit inflation figure by 2026 while growing the economy at an estimated 6.6%.
We now believe that through the fiscal measures that we've enacted as well as the monetary measures that we're working closely with the central bank that was put into place, that base is now available for industry and the rest of the economy now to grow. That's why we're now talking about growth. Because from our perspective, much as we've sustained this stability for the past 12 months, I think it's now anchored. That's why we are talking about single-digit inflation in the first quarter of 2026. And we are talking of inflation which is already within the SADC benchmarks, which we then believe that then anchors the further growth that we would want to see in our economy. If you look at even our growth for the first quarter and the second quarter of the year, the average is actually 8.4%. So the 6.6% that we are actually projecting for this year, the Minister and I actually believe that, okay, we can stick to the 6.6, but the Minister and I actually believe very strongly that growth for the year will be above 7%.
With more and more goods from local companies, that includes National Foods, Champion Foods, Varun Beverages, as well as CFI Holdings, Treasury believes value addition and beneficiation will be a key deliverable within the second phase of the National Development Strategy.
3-4 years ago, the ratio of locally manufactured goods against imported goods, I think used to sit at maybe anything between 80-20 to 70-30. But there's been a very, very, very quick turnaround in terms of locally manufactured and locally produced goods. That's why, again, it's reflected in the overall economy, where the manufacturing sector is now the biggest sector in our economy. It actually shows and it reflects the ability of the economy to turn the private goods, mostly produced from the agriculture, primary agriculture, into consumer goods that you can now put on your table on a day-to-day basis.
From 2026 to 2030, government is looking at developing a strong and resilient infrastructure that is able to support the socio-economic development of the country, as well as increasing agricultural output so as to achieve food and nutritional security, as well as the development of agro-processing value chains. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, Zimbabwe is intensifying efforts to end chronic medicine shortages in public health institutions through an ambitious pharmaceutical sector strategy anchored on the National Development Strategy 2. The plan places the National Pharmaceutical Company of Zimbabwe, NATPHAM, at the center of a nationwide drive to ensure consistent availability of safe, effective, and affordable medicines. Our health editor, Abigail Tembo, picks up the story.
At the NATPHAM warehouse in Harare, where government's push to end medicine stockouts in public hospitals is taking a major turn under National Development Strategy 2. Under NDS 2, government is overhauling how medicines are bought, funded, stored, and distributed. And NATPHAM is right at the center of this transformation. For years, public hospitals have battled recurring shortages worsened by foreign currency constraints and heavy dependence on imports. Now, government says this must change with a new pharmaceutical sector strategy under NDS 2 aimed at ensuring safe, effective, and affordable medicines are always available in public facilities.
Under NDS 1, we managed to reach out to friendly countries to establish relationships that we will be harnessing in the next strategy in order to bring the much needed technology transfer from those developed countries, better developed countries in terms of pharmaceuticals, to our settings. We will be focusing more on building the relationships that we established in the period of NDS 1.
A key part of this strategy under NDS 2 is boosting local production.
So there are two angles that we are taking as we go forward. We are going to be supporting the local industry, the local manufacturers that are there. We are increasing our share that we've been getting from them to a significant amount, and we are also going to be a player manufacturing not products that are already being manufactured by local manufacturers, but looking at other products. We've visited some countries who in less than 10 years they've also moved from 10% to almost 80% local production. For instance, Algeria, we were there recently and we learned that they deliberately put policies that, like the ones that our NDS 2 is promoting, that saw them grow from around 28% to 80%, which they've attained now in the past decade.
With NATPHAM at the center of these reforms, government is banking on a future where medicine stockouts are eliminated and every citizen can access treatment whenever they need it. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, for more news, you can log on to our website. That is www.zbcnews.co.zw.
We're also available on social media, all platforms. ZBC News Online. You can be part of the 1 million plus people that are following us on Facebook.
Absolutely. And now here are the stories to expect in the bulletin.
Sungura icon Madzibaba Nicholas Zakaria is no more. Tributes continue to pour in following, of course, the devastating news that we received this afternoon.
And in sport, Warriors coach Marenika announces a 28-man squad for AFCON. A 16-year-old winger Tadiwa Chakuchichi named. Main News takes a break. We will be back with some more updates.
Zimbabwe inhaka yedu. Zimbabwe is our heritage. This first season is the right time to travel.
Local is local.
Zimbabwe 2025, number
#1 destination in the world, according to Forbes magazine. This festive season, travel local and experience our heritage. Zimbabwe, inaka yenu, ilifa letu. Experience Zimbabwe. Zimbo.
Heritage-based curriculum.
Ozanlonge uyai ziva kwakabva ziva kwauri kuenda umbangu kudzoka umbangu. Embracing the heritage-based curriculum framework 2024 to 2030 to produce citizenry with relevant pragmatic schemes, applied knowledge, values and dispositions for national development through STEM. Science, technology, engineering and mathematics.
Our education, our innovation, our industrialization, our national development.
Welcome back. You are still watching the main news. The Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission has cleared businessman Wicknell Chivayo from any wrongdoing in alleged fraudulent dealings with the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. In a media briefing in Harare, ZAC chairperson Mr. Michael Reza said the anti-corruption body's probe, triggered by allegations from the jail duo of Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu, established that there is no contractual relationship between ZEC and Chivayo.
I received an anonymous letter to the effect that there were 3 people who were involved in a fraud involving the presidential votes scheme, and the names were given as Chivayo, Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu. So we immediately set about investigating. We investigated that case. The first thing that we did, in any business transaction, what links people to a crime or a person to a business transaction is a contract. So we went to ZEC and we asked ZEC to give us the contracts pertaining to that. The answer that our investigators got from ZEC was they do not know these people. They've not done any business with them. And we, the investigators, went to Chivayo and he said he does not know these 2 guys. He knows them socially, but not in terms of business. So we persisted to an extent that you may recall that ZEC actually produced a statement in the press to say we do not know these people. If they say we have done business with them, let them bring contracts. Even as I'm speaking here, there is no such document.
The Zimbabwe Republic Police has intensified security operations through the strategic deployment of officers across the country in preparation for the festive season. In a media briefing in Harare this Thursday, ZRP Commissioner General Stephen Matamba also noted the need for the citizenry to adhere to the country's laws during the festive period.
The Zimbabwe Republic Police acknowledges the onset of the 2025 festive season, a period marked by an increase in travel and socio-economic activities, as well as large public gathering across the country. On the other hand, the country faces challenges of road traffic accidents, criminal activity, and various violations of the law. This necessitates enhanced vigilance, heightened and proactive policing by the Zimbabwe Republic Police. In this regard, the Zimbabwe Republic Police has deployed police officers throughout the country to conduct roadblocks, traffic blitz, stop and search operations. Motorized foot and cycle patrols will be intensified in all areas, which include central business districts, residential areas, industrial zones, and leisure centers. If leaving your home, ensure that it is securely locked and there is always someone to watch over it. Road safety is a collective responsibility by all Zimbabweans. Therefore, motorists are urged to comply with speed limits, avoid overloading, and plan their journeys accordingly. Above all, drivers should minimize night travel, as some fatal road traffic accidents occur during these times due to vision and observation challenges. The police will impound all defective or unroadworthy vehicles for the safety of Zimbabweans and visitors to the country. Members of the public are strongly discouraged from boarding non-public service vehicles, including pirate taxis and mushikashika, for their own safety.
Right, Commissioner General Stephen Mutamba there speaking ahead and telling us more about preparations ahead of the festive season. Let's now cross over to our Montrose studios where Marilyn Ngwenya is on standby with more news. Marilyn, great to see you as always.
And many thanks to you, Butler. And of course, looking at the safety of transport operators and the commuting public, the public transport operators have embraced the statutory instrument on speed limit, with digital tracking and speed governing systems increasingly becoming part of their daily operations to enhance passenger safety. Our reporter Yolanda Moyo filed the following report.
Statutory Instrument 118 of 2023 makes it mandatory for all public service and heavy vehicles to have speed limiting and monitoring devices with a maximum speed limit of 100 kilometers per hour. The statutory instrument aims to reduce road accidents, with the Vehicle Inspectorate Department and the Zimbabwe Republic Police expected to enforce the law. To gauge on the ground implementation of the regulation, our news crew visited a prominent public transport organization in Bulawayo that has fully integrated the system to its operations.
It shows us the kilometers and how rough the driver is when he's driving. It can show us that you have just turned a sharp turn. And when we are looking at that with the kilometers you will be driving, we can tell if there was anything this driver could have been involved in a car accident.
Yeah, this has actually reduced a lot of accidents which we used to experience. The moment we put them in the trackers, drivers are now very much cautious. They know they can actually be picked up.
While some operators have moved swiftly to comply, transport associations note with concern that there are some gaps which need to be attended.
Dambudziko ratinaro nderekuti vazhinji vacho vakuda kuita mashortcut avachadi kutedzera mutemo.
More improvement must be seen in terms of educating the transport operators, in terms of educating the drivers with regards to these devices, because it's not just about installing.
The critical need for enforcement agencies to be adequately equipped and trained to effectively implement the SI was stressed.
So the education side of things is what we are fully in support of, making sure that our partners such as VID are properly trained.
As Zimbabwe intensifies efforts to reduce road carnage, implementation of the SI is emerging as a key pillar in the broader national road safety framework. Yolanda Moyo, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The National Handling Services NHS has posted profits exceeding $7 million United States dollars from its Walvis Bay dry port in Namibia in the wake of improved cargo handling capabilities. The development was confirmed by NHS Board Chairperson Mr. Goodwin Nyengesa in Bulawayo this Wednesday. He also highlighted plans to plow back into recapitalization efforts and infrastructure expansion programs.
I'm happy to report that year to date we've made a profit of in excess of 7 million in Namibia, and we want to leverage on that as we get funding. And also, it doesn't end there. We are also engaging with several potential partners in terms of triple Ps. We are not selling equity. We don't have capacity to do that. We are looking at joint ventures. We are also looking at BOTs. And potentially with recapitalization, we'll be able to acquire various pieces of equipment in Walvis Bay. We want to buy reach stakers. We want also to build reefer plugs. We want also to enhance our warehousing and our transit bond. And, maybe happy days are ahead.
A Lower Guero-based miner has defied the odds, scaling the heights from an artisanal miner to own a multi-million-dollar mine, riding on the Second Republic's empowerment policies. This comes as statistics reveal small-scale miners are contributing around 75% of the country's annual gold output. Our Midlands Bureau Chief Tafaraj Kumira has more.
Born Tawanda Mchenurwa 52 years ago in rural Chiwi of Masvingo province, young Tawanda had a penchant for treasure hunting that will see him scavenge for the yellow metal along Runde River during his schooling days. Mchenurwa will later work at Zimalois, where he sharpened his mining skills before quitting his job to try artisanal mining in the mountainous area of Shurugwi. His determination would see him save money to register a mining claim in Lower Guero, where he eventually set up a mine that will change his fortunes. Boasting of over 100 workers who are directly employed at the facility, now known as Birthday Mine, the investment is contributing over 1.5 kilograms of gold per month to the country's reserves.
Pazoya hurumende nyuwani yamunangagwa yenyu distribution ndopatanga kuti kuvhurika zvinhu takukwanisa kuti unotochera takasungunuka tichiisa mali dzedu kuna Fidelity tichiemploya vanhu vakawanda sepalapa tine vashanda but 136 then pamwedzi gold nobula panapa normally kuma 1 kg yo kana pasina zvadisturba vapana nemvura dziri kunayo kg tinosvitsa kana 1.5 tinosvitsa.
Locals have benefited from the establishment of the mining venture in a move that has transformed their lives for the better.
Tirikundibatsira kusupporta my husband mukukurisa mhuri yatinayo. Munhu wese pari kuenda kuchikoro tarisiro ndeyekuti kana uchinge wadzidza uwanewo ma-returns through getting employment. Nekuwanawo a competitive salary inokwanisa kuti ukwanise kuriritira mhuri yako.
Ndokwanisa kuriritira mhuri yangu, kuendesera vana kuchikoro nekutengawo zvinodiwa muupenyu, chikafu, mbatya.
Takabatsirika nawo nekuti sema-students unokwanisa kushayiwa attachment kwenguva yakareba zvokuti unokwanisa kutozodifeya but ndakawanawo attachment panapa and I'm grateful kuti ndikuwana knowledge.
The story of Mchenurwa resembles resilience and perseverance with a goal to make a difference from humble beginnings. With the country exceeding the annual 40-ton gold target, small-scale miners like Mchenurwa are the wheels behind the motion, contributing around 75% of the yellow metal to the bullion reserves. Tafaraj Kumira, ZBC News, Lower Guero.
Government's infrastructure drive is on course in Mashonaland West Province with major projects in Chinoi and Chegutu creating jobs and transforming the landscape.
Several construction projects are transforming the face of Mashonaland West provincial capital, Chinoi, with one of the leading development being the National AIDS Council multi-purpose complex. The project, already employing scores of locals, is fast becoming a symbol of expanding economic activity and skills transfer in the town.
Projects akushandwa nenyika
iri kutibatsira isusu kuti tisaita zvemadrugs
kudzidza zvakawanda in terms of construction projects.
We have 10 shops which we intend to let to outsiders, and then on the first floor we have 13 shops, 13 offices meant for our provincial staff, and an extra kitchen and also body.
And just over 90 kilometers away, the once small town of Chegutu is experiencing transformation under the Urban Renewal Program with a $3.5 million United States shopping mall, which is set to open in January next year.
We finished the project in May 2025. Then we anticipating an opening in January.
Guta redu rakuita richifamba richiuya nechekumapeto kwetown kuitira kuti guta rirambe richikura.
Infrastructure growth continues to gain momentum under the Second Republic, creating jobs, improving services, while facilitating the urban renewal concept in line with Vision 2030. Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Chegutu.
And now from Chegutu, it's back to Pocket Hill Studios in Harare, where Butler is on standby. Butler, it's back to you.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Marilyn Gwenya there and the entire crew at our Montrose studios. Now, the government is determined to ensure value addition is at the core of agricultural production in line with Vision 2030.
Addressing a cross-section of key stakeholders here at the Zimbabwe Agricultural Society, the Deputy Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Honorable Evangelis Haratose, outlined the value addition and beneficiation as a cornerstone for achieving the upper middle class income society being spearheaded by President Emmerson Mnangagwa.
Long ago, the value addition from cotton used to transform communities. We need that back. So transformation comes from value addition. We look at the tobacco value chain. Tobacco, we cannot continue to export tobacco raw.
The Zimbabwe Agricultural Society Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Rufaro Gunundu, speaks on the essence of this stakeholders meeting that has been held on how Zimbabwe is prepared for the 2025-2026 agricultural season. Mr. Gunundu.
This season has already started, but there is a lot of issues that farmers would need to know about. For instance, how will the season progress? When will it end? And we had meteorological experts explaining the quality of the season, which was said to be a very good season.
Banks also came under the spotlight here as they've been challenged to come up with tailor-made financing models for agriculture that will accommodate small, medium to large-scale farmers than sticking to traditional financing model that requires collateral. Tendai Munengwa, ZBC News, Harare.
Main News takes a breather. We will be back with business news.
Festive season, explore Zimbabwe. From the majestic Victoria Falls to the breathtaking Eastern Highlands, Rainbow Tourism Group has the perfect holiday getaway. Stay at Zambezi River Lodge, located right on the banks of the mighty Zambezi River, or be just 5 minutes from the action at Victoria Falls Rainbow Hotel, or better still, unwind in Mountain Magic at Montclair Resort. Festive rates from only $70 per person, bed and breakfast. Book now, rtgafrica.com or call 263-242-772-633 up to 9.
The Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe would like to advise motorists to avoid traveling at night because of the dangers that come with the territory, from drunk drivers to robbers waiting on unsuspecting motorists at strategic places. Motorists are also advised to remember to dip their lights when passing oncoming traffic. Please ensure your tail lights are working and avoid getting hit from behind by other vehicles on the road. Remember, life is precious, so exercise caution when driving at night. The Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe, keeping Zimbabwe's roads safe.
This is AFCON, my friend. Everything is a competition. Everything.
So here they come for the opening game, and the way we are here at the Africa Cup of Nations.
Join our family meeting from the 21st of December to the 18th of January. Purchase a decoder for $30. AFCON 2025, live on SuperSport.
Welcome back and thank you for staying tuned. We now take a look at business news. Now, Zimbabwe is reaping the benefits of a massive production by the beverages industry, which has since January this year paid millions of dollars in taxes.
increase production is the order of the day at one of the country's beverages companies, Varuna Beverages, which has immensely benefited from government interventions leading to employment creation, with the Treasury also benefiting in terms of more revenue collection from taxes, a move that is also expected to positively affect Zimbabwe's economic growth.
We got the best taxpayer award from Zimra this year. My CFO received it. So we are happy that the consumer of Zimbabwe liked our product, which is leading to expansion every year. And then when we are selling, there are taxes which we are paying in time, for which we are being appreciated by Zimra.
Even the long-serving Zimbabwe Stock Exchange listed company Delta Beverages has also played an important role in terms of contributing to the fiscus through taxes, a move that has seen the government meeting some of its socio-economic development needs.
At the last tracking of these numbers, we were talking about 15 to 20 million US dollars per month equivalent, including the sugar tax. These allow government to run their operations, and we believe we can only contribute and do better with the support that we are seeing from government, particularly the issues around the stability that we are seeing in the economy.
This is a very important sector in our economy, employing high numbers of our people, but more importantly, the products coming out of these two institutions reach out every corner of our country. I'm happy to observe that over the last 6 to 7 years, pretty much under the Second Republic, this sector has grown remarkably.
Maximum production by the beverages industry has seen Zimbabwe's economy benefiting immensely as the government continue to also get a part of its share in terms of taxes that are critical for the country's economic growth trajectory. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
And that they are look at your business news. In the arts now, very devastated by this news. Zimbabwe Morning Sungura icon Nicholas Zakaria, who died early today at the age of 66, was affectionately referred to as the senior lecturer, one of the iconic and founding members of the Kiama Boys.
The community has gathered to bid farewell to a man whose voice shaped generations. At 66, Madzibaba Nicholas Zakaria, the senior lecturer, left a legacy that stretches far beyond the stage. Today, fans, fellow musicians, and family members are coming together not only to mourn his passing, but to celebrate the songs and the mentorship that defined his life.
Akaita kuti asimudzire mhuri yake ini pachangu ndinogara kumusha kusaka ndiye anoita kuti tisvike patiri nhasi uno achitiraramisa nekuimba kwaaita.
Ndakauya ndichibva kuBeatrice ndichitsvaga basa. Ndasvika ndatanga kutsvaga basa pandikanza gitari haugone gitari unoda kutodzidziswa. Ndakatanga kukumbira kudzidziswa mandadzidziswa.
Ndinairidza madrums kuKiama tisima original Kiama Boys. Alec Macheso, Silas Chakanyuka, Lefson Chakanyuka na Nicholas Zakaria. Takashana nemukuru kubvira 1985 kusvika 97. Kunzwa kwandazita rufu nhasi ndabatikana chaizvo.
One of his most accomplished proteges, Alec Macheso, has paid a glowing tribute, remembering Zakaria as a mentor, a pillar of discipline, and a musical father who shaped generations of artists.
Ndinzi nini pandiri apa nhasi uno ndo mbereko ndiyarusa mukoma ndi baba tashayikirwa asi ringotendawo mhuri yeZimbabwe nekubatsira isusu wambesungura tichaona upi musenior lecturer futi papa.
As the celebration of his life continues, the mood reflects both sorrow and gratitude, a final salute to a man who dedicated all his life to the upliftment of Zimbabwean music. Patience Nyakato, ZBC News, Chitungwiza.
A devastating loss indeed. And on that note, we break for sport.
Festive is here, Shah. First Street lights up, and suddenly the vibe is back. It stretches from Harare to Hollywood, even to Old Trafford. Jesse Gil Festive. All I want this festive season? The stories that keep us hooked. The ngoma, the rhythm, the laughter, the drama, the goals, the world-class entertainment that brightens up the holidays for the whole family. All I want is DSTV.
Good evening and thank you so much for joining us on Sports News this evening as we get to give you what has been happening through the day. My name is Lawrence Trusida. So the wait is over as the Warriors coach Marian Marinika has announced his 28-man squad putting faith in youth after naming 16-year-old Tadiwa Chakuchichi in his AFCON squad.
He played just 3 matches for Scotland in the Castlelaga Premier Soccer League, scoring twice coupled with a week-long training camp with the Warriors, and that was enough to convince Marinika of the talents of Chakuchichi. The youngster captained the youth team at the COSAFA Under-17 Championship earlier this year. Chakuchichi made his name at the CAF African Schools Championship in Harare 2 years ago, and since then he has not looked back and appears destined for greater heights. If he plays at AFCON, he'll be the youngest ever player at the Continental Showpiece after Gabonese striker Chivastar Nzigo of Gabon, who initially held the record of making his debut at 16 years, 2 months and 30 days during the 2000 AFCON tournament. He, however, later admitted that he lied about his age and was 5 years older than initially thought. Chakuchichi is not the only youngster in the team, with rising central midfielders 19-year-old Prosper Padera and Sean Fusire, who is a year older, having also made the cut. Towering defender Ishanesu Mauchi is also part of the cast, while a lot of youths could be providing pace and precision up front in Tawanda Chirewa, Tawanda Maswanise, and Bill Antonio, who are all 23 and under. Forgotten defender Alec Mudimu surprisingly made the cut, so is Junior Zindoga, who is playing for TX Galaxy in South Africa. However, striker Tandolo Nkosi Ngwenya of Amazulu will be disappointed to miss out, together with 2025 Soccer Star of the Year first runner-up Kelvin Moyo. Captain Marvelous Nakamba and Knowledge Musona bring a world of big match experience. The Warriors will, however, miss Vice-Captain Marshall Munetsi and utility player Jordan Zemura, who are injured. Soccer Star of the Year Washington Navaya earned his place, so does Macaulay Bonn, who recently secured a club together with the gritty Andy Rinomota. Caps United's Ishmael Wadi, who last featured for the Warriors in 2021, has earned a recall, while there are no surprises in the goalkeeping department after Washington Arubi, Elvis Chipezese and Martin Mapisa were retained.
So what's left is for the Warriors just to do duty and make the nation proud. Remember, this time they're gunning to go past the group stages for the first time. They've tried it 5 times before and failed. Can it be a 6th time lucky? Let's just wait and see as they take on Egypt. That is on the 22nd, their first match in Group B. Staying on AFCON news, Zimbabwean performance analyst Tinashe Shingai Mkandatsam has been drafted into South Africa's coaching staff for the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON set for Morocco from the 21st of this month. Mkandatsam, who is part of the Mamelodi Sundowns technical department, has earned a growing reputation for sharp video analysis, opposition profiling, and player development insights. Born and raised in Zimbabwe, Mkandatsama later moved to South Africa to advance his skills in sports science and performance analysis. His rise accelerated with South Africa's under-20s, where he was part of the technical team that won the Africa Under-20 Championship and later took part at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. His inclusion in the Bafana AFCON setup now gives him the chance to showcase his tactical analysis expertise at one of the continent's biggest sporting showpiece. South Africa and Zimbabwe are all in Group B, where they are joined together by Angola and Egypt. So let's wait and see how, the son of the soil will be doing when it turns out for Bafana on the technical bench. But that puts a wrap on Sports News this evening. Remember, the Africa Youth Games are happening in Angola, and we'll continue to be giving you updates in later bulletins. It's now back to the main desk.
Great stuff. Thanks a lot, Lawrence Trusida, there, as we look ahead to the Africa Cup of Nations. And that brings us to the end of the bulletin tonight.
Yes, absolutely. From myself, Irene Yarambi, Susan Masona at the Sign Language Desk.
My name is Patla Ndepure. Thanks a lot for joining us. Good night.